Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face when you're sleeping. If you are a normal person like us, you probably like a simple home. But there are people who like everything unique and sometimes just weird. These creative minds can transform even the simplest home into an extraordinary living space. From skateboard house to seashell house, let's have a look at 10 of the weirdest houses in the world. Number 10. Treehouse. Treehouses aren't what they used to be. At least not the modern and sophisticated ones like the Tree Hotel from Harads, Sweden. This is not like your normal American treehouses that are made from wood. The structure is a cube-shaped volume wrapped around the trunk of a tall tree. It's lightweight and made of aluminum, and its exterior is clad in mirrored glass, which allows it to perfectly blend in with its surroundings and to reflect the sky and the trees. The interior is made of plywood and offers 360 degrees of the landscape. The internal functions include a living area with a roof terrace, a bedroom, and a small bathroom. The house has everything needed to make it a perfect living space for people who love to stay in the woods. That is not all. Unlike most tree houses that require climbing on trees, to reach the entrance of this treehouse, one has to traverse a rope bridge connected to the next tree. This was a project by Tham and Videgard Architecture. If you are still afraid of the woods, maybe the next house will fascinate you.
Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and you'll get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it. It really works.
Number 9. Skateboard house. Have you ever thought about a house where you can skateboard anywhere? Living room, bedroom, and even baths? This is a skateboarder's dream, and the PAS house makes that dream come true. The PAS house is located in Malibu, California, and its bizarre design is the result of a collaboration between Francois Perrin, Gilles Lebon Delapointe, and their client, pro skater and former world champion Pierre-André Senezergue. It's the structure that can be used for both skateboarding and living. The interior is organized into 3 main areas, one of which is a skateboard practice zone. Of course, it's possible to skate on pretty much everything, including the walls, ceiling, and even the furniture. Nothing is off limits here, except maybe for the kitchen. Oh wait, you can skate even there. Number 8. KERET house. You may be familiar with this structure as the world's thinnest house, and for good reason, since it measures only 122 centimeters at its widest point. Yes, you heard that right. You can find this unusual structure in Warsaw, Poland, wedged between 2 existing buildings. The project started with an idea that architect Jacob Szczesny first presented at the Wola Art Festival in 2009. It took him some time to come up with the design and everything, but he really made it happen. 3 years later, that idea was materialized into this installation, which will serve indefinitely as a temporary home for traveling writers. It is a fitting place for writers too. With all the thin, confined boundaries, they can learn how to think outside of the box, or should we say, the house. The place has no windows, but it's semi-transparent and has a white interior, which allows it to feel a lot less tiny than you'd think. If this house doesn't put a smile on your face, the next one definitely will. Number 7. The Pole houses. This house is as dramatic as it is simple. Designed and built by F2 Architecture, the Pole House overlooks the Great Ocean Road in Australia and takes advantage of its location and spectacular views in a very unusual way. The plot on which it was built is a steep hillside, which obviously was very challenging for the architect firm. The architects came up with the most intriguing solution to the problem. They built a concrete platform on a 13-meter high pylon, and they put the house on top. By elevating it like that, they put an emphasis on the views, but were faced with a second challenge. There was no way to comfortably access the house. To solve this problem, the architects also built a narrow concrete bridge that links the house to the hillside. From the bridge to the house, everything is an adventure. The house is a tourist spot, and you can visit it anytime you want. Number 6. The Steel House. This is not exactly a house, but rather a giant work of art. Located in Texas, the Steel House looks nothing like a conventional home. Just look at it. the design is completely ridiculous. But once you find out its story, you'll see why that is. It took more than 30 years to complete this project. It all started in 1973, when unconventional sculptor Robert Bruno started the project. From then until his death in 2008, he worked on this amazing project, handcrafting everything with no outside assistance. Can you believe one person built this whole thing? The house, which was never completed, has a very unusual form that could be interpreted in a lot of different ways. Some think it resembles a UFO. Others think it looks more like a massive insect. And there are also those who compare it to a Star Wars AT-AT walker. Number 5. The Caterpillar House. We are not really sure why this house was given this name. We can't deny the fact that the house is pretty unconventional, as well as really interesting. This cool and weirdly shaped family home is located in Chile and was designed by Santiago Irarrázaval Architects and Eric Caro in 2012. The sloping plot on which it was built is surrounded by rocky landscape. As you can imagine, that made the architect's job quite difficult. But difficulty fuels an artist's excitement and creativity. In an effort to reduce the cost as well as the construction time, they chose to build the Caterpillar house out of shipping containers. In total, 12 containers were used, one of which has an open top and serves as a swimming pool. Of course, that's not the only thing that makes this house special. In fact, the most interesting of all is the distribution of the internal spaces and the way in which the zones interact with each other while maintaining their individuality. It really is a work of art. Would you want to live in this house? Number 4. Seashell House. Have you ever wondered what it's like to be a hermit crab? Swimming in the huge oceans, and then when tired of that, just roll on the beach and find seashells to live inside them? Well, we are not sure about swimming in the ocean, but as for the latter part, it would be like living in this insane house from Mexico City, which looks like a giant seashell. The house was designed by Javier Senosian, who drew inspiration from the Nautilus. Of course, the shell was stylized a bit, and its form and design were adapted and translated into this amazing architectural jewel. The project was completed in 2016, and one of the most notable elements, besides the obvious shape of the house, is that wonderful wall of colored mosaics which created the most exquisite rainbow effect. Number 3. Cement Factory House. If you thought that making a seashell into a home was amazing, wait until you see this residence. This house is located in Barcelona, and it used to be a cement factory. This is by far one of the most amazing conversions ever. It was a project completed by Ricardo Bofill, who discovered the factory back in 1973 and decided to give it a new meaning. The factory was abandoned and partially in ruins, and had over 30 silos, a series of underground galleries, and huge engine rooms. Certain parts of it were demolished, and only 8 silos were preserved. They became offices, archives, a library, a laboratory, a projection room, and a space dubbed the Cathedral, which serves as an event venue. Finally, after 2 years of hard work and after planning lots of greenery, the architects managed to turn the raw structure into a stunning complex that serves as both his home and office. And with that, it's now time for today's subscriber pick. Today's photo was sent to us by a subscriber. If you come across a photo online and want to know more details about it, just send it over to us. We might even feature it on a future video. Number 2. House Turned Inside Out. Houston artists and sculptors Dan Havel and Dean Ruck called this project Inversion. They created an incredible illusion out of 2 houses, the illusion of a house turned inside out. The tunnel starts at the front of the home and goes straight through, ending up in a small type of slide coming out of the back. You go in walking, and you crawl out as the tunnel contracts. This was an amazing piece of public art. Unfortunately, the artwork was temporary and eventually did get demolished. Number 1. The Slide House. The name pretty much explains everything in this case. We have to say that this house is every child's dream. The Slide House is one of the most fun and playful homes out there, and yet its design is surprisingly simple and common. Well, except for the giant slide, which spans 3 floors, obviously. The slide is an integral part of the building, and it is just completely fascinating. It runs the entire inner perimeter of the building, which has rounded corners. This wonderful house was designed by Lavelle Architects, and was completed in 2009. Figuring out all the details like the right angle of the slope or the best materials for the slide was not easy, but it all came out great eventually. Maybe it's time to move houses. Which house would you want to live in from this list? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.